What are the Summer Olympics? I don't know. Let's find out. Chapter 1, the Ancient Games, 776 BC to AD 393. The Olympic Games started in Greece in the Valley of Olympia at least 3,000 years ago. Much of them is unknown, but one thing is certain. At first, they were part of religious festivals. The festivals were held to honor Zeus, the king of the gods, worshipped by the ancient Greeks. So we know that it started in Greece in the Valley of Olympia. We know that it started as religious festival to honor Zeus, the Greek god. We also are going to learn a little bit more. The first known Olympics took place in 776 BC, but they may have started hundreds of years earlier. These early Olympics took place on a single day. There was a 200-meter race among other events. Why this length? Supposedly, that was the distance of the famous Greek hero Hercules could run while holding his breath. So let's see. We know it started in Greece in ancient Olympia. We also know that it started as a religious festival to honor the Greek god Zeus. We also know that the Olympics were in one day. That's different from now, isn't it? It was a 200-meter race that was done, and that was in honor of Hercules, who could run that far in one breath. In the stadium, in time, a stadium was built. More races were added. In one, athletes ran in full armor. Mostly, though, they didn't wear anything at all. They ran naked. So we know that. Started in Greece, started as a religious festival to honor Zeus. One day, Hercules could run 200-meter in with one breath, and they ran mostly naked. There you go. Soon chariot races were added, as well as wrestling and boxing matches, which sometimes ended in the fighter's death. Before each Olympics, messengers traveled through Greece spreading news of the games and seeking male athletes. No women could compete. So here we go. We have chariot races. Chariot races. They also added wrestling and boxing. Were there women allowed? No. Campfire. For each Olympic, thousands made their way to Olympia. Hundreds of tents lined the valley. Campfire smoke filled the air. Magicians and fortune tellers performed. Art and music exhibitions were held. But as centuries passed, people stopped believing in the Greek gods. They lost interest in the games. By AD 400, after more than 1,000 years, the Olympic era was over. Wah, wah, wah. So they stopped doing the Olympics for a little bit because they no longer believed in the Greek gods. So they stopped. Started in Greece, the Valley of Olympia, started as a religious festival in honor of Zeus, the Greek god. That's important to know because they stopped believing in the Greek gods. One day, the Olympics were held in one day. 200-meter race was the big race because that's how long Hercules could run and hold his breath. They mostly ran naked, but sometimes they wore full armor. They also added chariot races, wrestling, and boxing. There were no women allowed to play. And remember, they said sometimes the athletes died during the Olympics. I'm glad that doesn't happen now. The games stopped. Why? Because they stopped believing in the Greek gods. And it stopped around AD 400. I can't wait to hear what's next.